Hello from the Julian Teaching School Hub Appropriate Body Service. We were due to be delivering a live twilight for tutors like you on May 2nd. However, due to industrial action by NEU members, we've instead chosen to pre-record a series of short clips so as to brief you. These recordings are aimed at tutors whose ECTs are now entering their final term of induction, within which they'll make their final recommendation to us in the appropriate body as to whether their ECTs should pass or fail induction. I'm Roger Higgins, Director of the Julian Teaching School Hub. I'll be presenting 3 of the 4 parts of this briefing. My colleague Dave Richards, AB Lead of the Julian Teaching School Hub, as well as Vice Principal at Ormiston Venture Academy, will be presenting part 3 of the 4-part briefing. Here are the aims for this briefing. You may wish to pause the recording here. Each aim will be covered by a separate recording. The remainder of this clip then will revisit the big picture, any concerns you may have about ECT's progress, consequences of any absences they have, and potential extensions to their induction period. Your last twilight with us was nearly a year ago, when we looked ahead with you at writing Formal Assessment Point 1. Since then, you'll have completed many key milestones as summarised on the screen. We now need to look ahead to the final milestone, Formal Assessment Report 2, where you summarise overall progress of your ECTs against the teacher standards and make a recommendation to us as to whether your ECTs have passed or failed induction. Please make a note of the deadline for submitting that report. Nationally, as well as locally with the Julian Teaching School Hub, the vast majority of ECTs successfully complete their induction period. It's worth reminding you at this stage that ECTs only get one chance to pass induction. No surprises is therefore a key principle when it comes to how you communicate with your ECTs and indeed us as your appropriate body. By this stage of induction, with 5 of 6 terms completed, we would expect to have already heard from you if your ECT is not making satisfactory progress. We would therefore already be working with you in response to this situation, including speaking to your ECT, supporting you to develop an appropriate support plan, and checking with you that you have a sufficient evidence base to back up and warrant your judgment. All of this is set out in our guidance as found on ECT Manager, which in turn is based on the statutory guidance for induction. Without the kind of actions I've described and the evidence base to support your judgment, we would be unable to support any recommendation you make at the end of the induction period to fail your ECT. Should you have any concerns that you have not already informed us about with regard to your ECT's progress versus the teacher standards, it is therefore vital that you contact us immediately. When your ECT reaches the end of their induction period, there may be circumstances under which we will extend it. Induction is automatically extended if an ECT's absences per year total to 30 days or more, except under certain circumstances set out in the statutory guidance in paragraph 3.6. These reasons do not include participating in strike action, which is notable this academic year. Induction may be extended as well by us at the appropriate body at our discretion. Common reasons for this include for ECTs who are experiencing or have experienced personal crises, ECTs experiencing prolonged periods of illness, ECTs who have developed a new disability during the induction period, ECTs who've experienced issues around the support provided by your institution during induction. Equally, ECTs where there is insufficient evidence provided by an institution to warrant their recommendation about whether to pass or fail the ECT. It's worth noting that ECTs have a right to appeal against their induction period being extended. That's something we as the appropriate body inform them about should the situation arise. Additionally, if an ECT is on a fixed-term contract with your institution and is therefore unable to or chooses not to serve any extension with you, then they will need to serve a minimum period of 1 whole term in a new institution. This brings us to the end of the first part of this briefing. Now, please watch part 2.